meeting of the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library. We're at the public comment section. So the Board of Trustees.
Oh, Diane, we need to do the roll call real quick. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Ms. Allen,
Present.
Mr. Hendon,
Present.
Ms. Koenig. Here. Mrs. Lamacchia. Here. Mr. Olson. Oh, he's here. Sorry.
Here. Sorry.
Ms. Redden.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, Diane, sorry about that. Go ahead.
That won't be the last gaffe today. I can tell you that right now. Just so we're clear. So the Board of Trustees of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County welcomes public input in its deliberations. The board further recognizes that the importance of public comment on issues before the board and the ability of members of the community to express their views on matters of interest to the library. We do have a full public participation policy, which includes a general 3-minute limit on comments. Please remember that public comments are for us to listen to you and your fellow community members. It is unlikely we will make any remarks immediately. We need a chance to reflect on your comments, research subjects, and of course to consider any relevant legal codes and issues. We will set an alarm and cease reading at 3 minutes. We ask commenters to be civil, and those addressing the board are expected to observe a level of civility and decorum appropriate for a public meeting and refrain from vulgar, profane, or harassing remarks. The president of the board or other presiding officer may terminate any presentation deemed not to adhere to these standards. We do have a public comment today. It is from Felicity Tao, and she lives in Montgomery. Subject is Greater Cincinnati Chinese Cultural Exchange Association thanks the Public Library for partnering during AAPI Heritage Month. Comment: we can't be more pleased with the partnership and the professionalism and kindness you and your colleagues showed us in the process of purchasing books to enlighten and educate our communities on the Asian American Pacific Islander experience. We support our public library 100%. As private citizens, believe it's such an important American institution to educate and to engage with the public. We were honored to have Professor Ivanova of the University of Cincinnati partner with us to deliver the wonderful presentation, Not Knowing Asia, Why Stereotypes Emerge and Persist Virtually. I've learned quite a bit myself, and I'm very pleased to have the partnerships with you and Professor Ivanova, who told us that she enjoyed celebrating the AAPI Heritage Month with us and would continue to partner with us to improve understanding the AAPI community. Hopefully, we will do more as partners moving forward. Thank you, everyone, for your hard work to make everything happen this Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month in May. End of comment. So, Paula, turning it over to you for the director's report.
Thank you, Diane. Starting my report with notice about the library levies across Ohio. So, of course, in May, we had several on the ballot, and all 9 were approved on their local ballots around the state. There is an exhibit that tells specifically how that went levy by levy. They included 8 renewals and 1 renewal with an increase, and they passed by a wide margin with the average voter approval of 81%. Moving on to state budget and legislative update. We've been talking an awful lot about this over the spring, and earlier this month, the Ohio Senate unveiled their version of the state operating budget, which was House Bill 110. Operating budget, sub-House Bill 110, and it did add language to the budget bill to maintain our PLF, our public library fund, at that 1.7%, which we've been asking. We deeply appreciate the Senate taking action to make sure Ohio's public libraries, to make Ohio public libraries a priority. The Senate Finance Committee will now hold several hearings, and it will be followed by an omnibus amendment for additional changes before a full vote by the Senate on about June 10th, so in a couple of days here. Once passed by the Senate, the bill will then be discussed in conference committee, where leaders from both chambers, the House and the Senate, will reconcile the differences between those 2 versions. So we'll keep you updated on that, and I do anticipate that that will be resolved one way or the other by the end of June. Going on to pandemic recovery and returning to service. We continue to assess service provision as the pandemic situation evolves, and in June, added back pre-pandemic evening hours at our largest locations. Following the July 4th holiday week, we will restore remaining locations to pre-pandemic hours and actually add 2 hours per week at what we call our neighborhood branches, as well as open our drive-throughs for service on Sundays at locations where they had not previously offered any Sunday service at all. The addition of the drive-through only hours on Sunday is a response to the popularity of that service delivery method that we witnessed during the pandemic. And it really appears to be an enduring trend. Just ask our friends over at the Anderson branch, where we had one that has been unbelievably popular. While there is staffing costs for this service, it is not nearly as significant as adding full Sunday service to locations. We will assess the demand for drive-through only Sunday hours as we hopefully continue to move beyond pandemic times. Want to note some local and national media attention. This spring, it's really been very active for media attention around our library, in particular, several of our strong community partnerships and our FMP activities, those facility master plan activities. Community partnerships receiving media attention included the partnership with the community, city, and county health care providers to offer COVID-19 testing and vaccine options at several of our library locations. Many of you are aware, I think, that this included an extensive visit on May 7th by Governor DeWine to our newly renovated and expanded branch up in Price Hill during a pop-up vaccination clinic. He was also joined there by Cincinnati Health Commissioner Dr. Melba Moore and Hamilton County Commissioner Alicia Reese for a press conference where they spoke about coordinated efforts between the state, city, and county to ensure anyone who wants to be vaccinated in the region has the opportunity to receive one. Also want to give a shout out to someone you all may remember, Sandra Presley, who's the branch manager there at Price Hill, had the opportunity to give a pretty good tour to Governor DeWine, and he really enjoyed that and was very attentive and very complimentary about the library branch. So thanks to Sandra for once again doing a great job representing us. And honestly, thanks to Governor DeWine, who walked around that building with all that going on for about 20, 25 minutes with us. It was great. On the partnership front, area schools, in particular Cincinnati Public Schools, CPS, partnership and expanding their students' access to our library's ebook collection by the SORA program received local media attention, as did our partnership with the Cincinnati Museum Center and FC Cincinnati, where we did that West End Courtyard Technology Project courtesy of some funding from the FC Cincinnati Foundation. That received attention in the national publication Computers in Libraries, who invited me to write an article on our partnership designed to close the digital divide. Yeah, sure. So Betsy has one. It's a very nice spread in print. There's it. So yay, thank you. Thanks, Betsy. Several news outlets, including the Cincinnati Enquirer, have run articles and segments about the library's potential loss of state funding, and local media continues to express interest in the new Price Hill branch, as well as the renovation and expansion we're doing on the Walnut Hills branch. Some of you may have seen some of those media pieces that ran. I think Walnut Hills was on CPO in particular, and actually earlier this week, when we'd already completed the board reports, we did have the opportunity to talk to a couple of additional, or last week, a couple of additional news outlets who came down to talk about this Discover Summer program, as well as just remind folks that the library is open for business and that we are really adding back many services to make sure that people have access to the library. So we continue to appreciate the media's attention to the library and its importance to the community. Happy to answer any questions. If not, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Paula. I'm going to turn things over now to Mr. Hendon for the Facilities, Finance, and Audit Committee. Mr. Hendon.
Good morning. The Facilities, Finance, and Audit Committee met virtually on May 26, 2021. Committee Chair Robert Hendon, Committee Member Nadine Allen, Board President Diane Cunningham Brennan were in attendance. Committee Member Greg Olson arrived at the meeting started, after the meeting started. Staff members Paula Graham Hager and Monica Fossey were also in attendance. It's a recommendation of the committee that the board take the following action. Revision of 2021 annual appropriations. In support of the branch refresh at Anderson, the TLA organization recommends that the library board appropriate $14,000 from the Anderson non-expendable trust fund to help offset the cost of the Anderson Branch Library project, specifically for expenses related to the new quiet rooms. Okay, expenses, capital outlay increased by $14,000, increase in expenses $14,000. I move to approve revisions of 2021 annual appropriations as outlined above.
Need a second? Ms. Allen,
Here. Aye. Aye.
Mr. Hendon,
Aye.
Ms. Conan. Aye. Mrs. Lamacchia,
Yes.
Mr. Olson,
yes,
Ms. Redden.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the 2020 audit update. Move to waive the post-audit meeting given that the audit is almost complete. The library staff is working to complete the comprehensive annual financial report. Currently, the auditors expect to issue a clean opinion and clean GAS opinion, and there are no management letter comments. The auditors will still send out a draft opinion, GAS opinion, to each board member with the opinion to request a meeting within 5 days to receive them after receiving the mail.
I need a second? I'll second. Ms. Allen,
Aye.
Mr. Hendon,
Aye.
Ms. Conan. Aye. Mrs. Lamacchia.
Yes.
Mr. Olson,
yes,
Ms. Redden.
Yes.
All right, Walnut Hills Branch accessibility. Demolition of the existing building is complete and excavation for the addition is underway. As anticipated, foundations with other debris have been uncovered, resulting in change orders to remove the impacted soil. With the potential for additional changes to bring in more soil. Based on the type of construction of the original Walnut Hills building, we also discovered uneven flooring in the basement. This means that additional flooring leveling is needed. These dollars are accounted for in the owner contingency and will still be within the overall $12,000.3 million projected budget. Move to confirm the following change orders: draw from Mega Construction, Willow Buried Foundations, $87,332.49. Removal of buried foundations, $130,998.74. Correct lower level slab elevations, $30,392.58.
Second. Ms. Allen,
Aye.
Mr. Hendon,
Aye.
Ms. Conan. Aye. Mrs. Lamacchia. Mr. Olson,
yes,
Redden.
Yes.
All right, Northside Branch emergency maintenance work. As the April 20, 2021 meeting, the board waived public billing for urgent necessity for repairs needed at the Northside Branch. Below is a summary of the contracts for the project. All right, we have Imbus Roofing for $33,000. I'm just going to round off $33,000. American Facade, $32,000. Enviro Work Services, $9,225. Plenary Painting, $10,000. Valley Interior Systems, $19,000 for a total of $103,995. With a contingency of $25,000. Expected repair cost, $128,995. Work is expected to be completed by late June, and the branch will open shortly after. Move to confirm the above purchase orders related to Northside Convergence project repair.
Second. Ms. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Hendon,
Aye, yes.
Ms. Conan. Aye. Mrs. Lamacchia. Mr. Olson,
yes,
Redden.
Yes.
All right, ongoing maintenance repairs for 2021-23 project. Planning for the FMP, including funding for ongoing maintenance and life cycle replacements, in hopes of getting ahead of some of the issues. Facilities team is working to complete the most critical issues. In the interest of time, we're proposing hiring a CMR so that we can obtain individual guaranteed maximum price contracts. As project scopes are identified and any necessary design work is completed. GMPs will be presented at the board for approval as they are developed. We expect several GMP packages until 2021-2023. I move to the following. Approve approve adopting the construction manager risk construction model delivery, the ongoing maintenance project repairs 2021 through 2023 project. Authorize Molly to coordinate the form and construction manager at risk evaluation committee. Committee is as follows: Molly DeFosse, coordinator; Greg Olson, trustee, advisory role; Paul Brown Hinger, Jeff Garrett, Kathy Taylor, Angela Peterson, Ronnie Ross. Authorize the bid below and authorize the committee to review the statements of qualifications, selected the top 3 firms, interview the top 3 as part of the second step of the process for proposals for pricing, and technical qualifications are submitted to make a final recommendation to the board August 2021.
There's one more piece to it. So there's the notice for the qualifications for the manager, construction manager. Are you wanna skip that?
Yeah, I'm good. There's a notice for request for qualifications. I'm not going to read the request. Then approve the following advertisement for design professional, and there's a request for design professional.
I'll second. Okay, thank you. Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Henson?
Aye.
Ms. Conan? Aye. Mrs. Lamont?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
And Mr. Hendon, just a quick point of information. Hey, Mr. Olson, are you okay being on the committee? I realized I didn't actually reach out to you in advance, and I apologize. So I'm so sorry. Mr. Hendon read that.
Yeah, I read this last night and I was like, oh, okay, all right.
That's voluntold. That's voluntold.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's just like sitting around the house on the weekend and hearing my wife say, all right, we're going to be doing this today. And we means me. Come in.
Well, thank you.
I'm happy to be a part of it.
Okay, thank you.
Well, you'll learn more about the library doing it.
Appreciate that.
All right, the rest of the items are for information only. Forest Park branch replacement. Library is continuing to work with the land acquisition, the future Forest Park branch. Working with our realtor and legal counsel, we have submitted an initial letter of intent to purchase land across the street from the library, which is submitted to board approval pending negotiating terms. Property had previously been a recreational facility, which included a swimming pool. The pool was demolished and debris was buried in the property. Based on this and the topography of the property, we expect to be some site challenges, which is being considered as a component of the LOI. We plan to complete the construction manager risk delivery model for this project and are seeking board approval for this project with the final decision. We will advertise for a design professional, previously approved by the board in April 2021. Once we have a letter position on the property and adjust the date properly accordingly. Main library project update. Main library, the board approved the maximum GMP for the skylight replacement in February 2021 board meeting, inclusive of CMRP and CMR contingency equal to or less than $2,580,000, with total project estimate of $3.1 million. The annual GMP is $2,359,102, and the project budget remains at $3,100,000. In order to maintain a conservative owner contingency. The elevator and skylight projects are expected to start in the next 30 days. During the summer, we plan to continue south booking services in the 1950s building as well as service in the north building. In anticipation of the disruption of scaffolding, we intend to keep activity in the 1980s building to a minimum. We will monitor the impact on services along the schedule to work with to provide a report in August. We consider ourselves fortunate to have 2 buildings which will provide us with the opportunity to maintain continuity of service. The design team is continuing work on schematic design for the overall project. We're currently planning for 2 early bid packages with the following timelines. The North Plaza cost estimate design review 7/9/2021. GMP approval 8/10/2021. Construction 8/15 through 11/15/2021. Demo of the South Plaza mezzanine cost estimate 9/3/2021. GMP approval 10/12/2021. Construction 11/19/2021. We Continue to investigate the options for location of the book fountain. Fountain is actually a tiled building structure. It's not so easily moved as the current location. The library is considering several options and evaluating the best location to move. Brightstone branch accessibility. We're still working on final closeout documents and a few punch list items remaining. Currently see lead notices from two subcontractors entrusted construction. We're working with Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office to prepare the appropriate responses in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code. The Anderson Branch refresh update. The Anderson Branch refresh project is on schedule. Completion expected in mid-June. The energy retrofit project, although the project is complete, we're still working through closeout documentation, punch list items, and an open change order with one contractor. As noted in the April 2021 board report, the library received requests from a contractor to meet about some concerns they had related to the project. We met with them virtually on April the 8th, 2021. In response to their request, we initiated a change order review with JSL on April 14th. Received a formal request for mediation from the law firm on behalf of the contractor. Results review of JSL substantiated the position of the engineer on the project, and there was no basis for a change order. Hamilton County Prosecuting Attorney's Office is preparing a response to the formal mediation request. The library is sending the contractor a letter summarizing these items.
Nothing's easy, is it?
No, you said it there, Betsy.
All right, Marymount exterior courtyard project. During the pandemic, the need for usable outdoor space has become a priority. Continuation of quality library service. We're fortunate that a generous donor has made a recurring donation to the foundation on behalf of the Marymount branch. With the anticipated proceeds of the funding source, the library is finalizing the design to put a glass roof over the exterior courtyard at Marymount. This project will also include the accessibility ramp. The project will be bid in June, with work commencing shortly thereafter. The project is expected to be completed by the end of 2021. The contract is expected to be confirmed at August 2021 board meeting, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Hendon. Next up, we have informational items. I'm going to turn things over to HR Chair, Judge Allen. Judge Allen?
Greetings. This is retired Judge Allen. Thank you for the title. Anyway, this is a report from Kyla Harden, our hardworking Human Resources Director. Human Resources Manager, Michelle Matthews. Michelle is the newest member of the Human Resources Department, joining the team in October of 2019. She is also a member of the library's senior leadership team. Michelle is an Air Force veteran and has a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration from the University of Maryland. She brings 20 years of human resource experience from Montgomery County, Ohio, and the city of Trotwood. She previously served on the Board of Trustees for Yes for Youth, a Dayton nonprofit that focuses on school to work transition for high school students. Michelle is primarily responsible for the library's human resources informational system and benefits program. She also supports our COO, Brett Bonfield's HR, including providing support for the public safety team. Most recently, Michelle has been involved in the library's diversity, equity, and inclusion effort. And I think we heard a report from her a couple of months ago. She has also been the library's COVID-19 staff support by crafting proposals for our staff's return to work, developing leave guidance in accordance with the newly developed Families First Coronavirus Response Act. She has done tremendous work around prioritizing the safety of staff during the pandemic. Michelle has shown strong leadership, teamwork, and resilience, consistently pivoting to meet the evolving needs of the library and our staff. She brings a measured approach to her work, which has been a great asset during a busy and challenging year. Michelle will speak about the library's DEI work and her role in guiding the organization through the safest possible return to service during the pandemic. Benefits renewal, preparation for the 2022 renewal.
Hold on, Nadine, we have Michelle here to do the presentation. She's going to talk
all right.
to us herself. No
Fantastic.
worries.
Fantastic. We turn it over to you, Michelle.
And thank you, Judge Allen, for that introduction. And good morning, everyone. I would like to talk about the library's diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. Last summer, during the social justice protests over the concerns over the killing of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, the library, like many other organizations, accelerated our efforts under diversity, equity, and inclusion and turned our focus to that. We knew that we were going to need some assistance in this an important initiative. We contracted with Design Impact, a local nonprofit social justice firm. Design Impact had worked with the library on its facility master plan. One of their specialties is facilitation. We also established a core team of library staff and management who worked with Design Impact to define listening sessions for our BIPOC staff. BIPOC is Black, Indigenous, people of color. Over 40 BIPOC staff participated in listening sessions that were held last October and November, and were able to share their experiences working with the library and areas of concern. That information was shared with our senior leadership team. As a follow-up, there were members of the participated in the listening sessions who was interested in continuing this work. In March, Design Impact, along with the core team, designed a planning action workshop. We worked with these members of the BIPOC team who really talked about how does the library, their ideas for how the library can continue this work and continuing moving down the path. Their ideas included several things. One was the creation of affinity groups, also known as employee resource group or advisory groups. This would be able to provide support to them, to the staff. They also recommended having someone who would be responsible for diversity, equity, and inclusion as a point person that staff could take concerns to. They recommended having internal project teams, which we already have a number of employee staff groups, but this group would focus on once the goals and objectives of the program were established and helping the library stay focused on reaching those goals and objectives. Another issue was having company-wide diversity equity training for all staff and management, and the creation of an apprenticeship program for high school and college students and eventually the community. The creation of these groups would create another pipeline for employees coming into the library system. This work would not have been accomplished without the support of our senior leadership team, particularly Paula and Kyla, as we move forward on this journey, and to the staff who came and trusted us in sharing their concerns with the library. The second part of our diversity efforts include working with Jennifer Ingram from Calibrated Lens. You all met Jennifer a couple of months ago at a board meeting. Jennifer is continuing her work by reviewing all of the library's policies, guidelines, and procedures. She also has us completing what she calls a READ assessment, which is a racial equity assessment and diagnostic. It is a comprehensive review of all of our programs, our services, our benefits, looking at our entire organization in a holistic way. Jennifer will take this information and come up with recommendations and guidelines and support to how the library can continue moving down this work. This work will not end in a couple of months. This is a multi-year ongoing efforts that will guide the library into the future. And we just thank you, the board members, for your support and for our senior leadership team and everything that they have done to help support us on this journey. And turning over to our COVID, as everyone, no one expected the virus to last this long or the pandemic to be as significant as it has been. But because of the leadership of Paula and Kyla and all of our senior leadership, I am proud to say that the library positivity rate was always less than the general population. This took a lot of effort from every department in the library system, from ensuring that we had the proper protective equipment, to facilities, being able to maintain and clean our facilities, but most of all to our staff who wear masks every day while they're working for the library. who are doing frequent cleaning and disinfecting of all of their surfaces. The part that I played in this effort, and along with our Human Resources Department and Michelle Smith, our benefit coordinator, was coming up with the protocols for staff when they had exposure or when they had symptoms of COVID. We have talked to over 350 staff members during this journey and their managers, and provided guidance on how often, how long they needed to quarantine, if they needed to quarantine, and provided information on the CARES Act, how to stay safe when dealing with COVID, and the proper protocols to take to keep themselves and their families and the community safe. Because of the efforts of everyone, again, our incident rates were low. We had a total of 56 employees test positive for COVID over the course of the pandemic. Fortunately, we had no employee death due to COVID. Our positivity rate was around at the height of 8%. We have not had a positive case since, we've had one positive case since April. And so I just want to thank the board for your support, our staff, which would have been impossible without their cooperation, our supervisor and managers who enforce the guidelines, and our senior leadership for everything that they've done during this pandemic. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Well, thank you for your efforts and work.
That is fantastic report. And I'm glowing about what all the library does for the community and for our own staff. So moving on to benefits renewal, preparation. Let me get there. Is it right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Preparation for the 2022 renewal of medical and voluntary benefits has begun. Similar to last year, a benefits task force of staff members will be formed to offer transparency, understanding, and effective communication around this renewal process. Compensation review. As mentioned in the April board meeting. Okay, I don't know what happened. Oops.
You need some help, Judge Allen?
Yes.
Want me
Yes.
to jump in?
Yeah, something happened. The video stopped. So
You want me to jump in?
yes, can you finish reading the report? Thanks.
Of course. Compensation review. As mentioned in the April board report, a compensation review led by compensation consultant Siegel Group continues as a part of the Coordinated Investing in Staff Initiative. After conducting a market survey with peer competitors to serve as a benchmark in collecting job description questionnaires from staff, Siegel is currently in the process of drafting a proposed description questionnaires. Wait a minute. Oh, sorry. Drafting a proposed classification structure. Weekly meetings between the compensation review work group and Siegel continue as considerations around this new structure is discussed. Once a framework for the classification structure has been established, Siegel will begin to construct a proposed salary structure to discuss with the team. The project continues to progress and is on schedule to deliver final recommendations in fall 2021. And that's the end of that report. Thank you, retired Judge Allen. I now turn it over to Development Committee, Development Chair, Ms. Conan.
Thanks, Diane. All right, so this is for information only item. The library has been the grateful recipient of several gifts since February, including significant gifts from the family of Roseanne Rodebush for the Sims Township Branch Library. Trustees from the David and Ann N. Early Foundation are excited by and committed to the library's plans for the Marymount Branch Library and a new enclosed patio space. The annual funding provided by the foundation will support the improvements for this project. The Library Foundation. Several applications for funding have been submitted and are being reviewed. 2 applications of note would support new initiatives for the library, the creation of a tech mobile, a new mobile tech center styled service point that would go to library deserts in our community, and connected learning laboratory for youth and teens at the Deer Park Branch Library. Friends of the Public Library. At the recent board meeting, the Friends approved annual support for the library at levels consistent with the past 2 years, despite the financial challenges presented by the pandemic. The Friends also updated their code of regulations to include term limits and other organizational governance best practices and welcomed a new slate of officers. Donate days at branches return in June and July from 9 to noon, with the following locations hosting these events. Madera Branch, June 6th, Forest Park Branch, June 12th, Deer Park Branch, June 28th, Green Township Branch, July 24th. And from the Anderson Township Library Association, Anderson Township Library Association has enthusiastically supported using proceeds from the library's non-expendable fund to support the Anderson branch refresh. The new quiet room will be named the Anderson Township Library Association Quiet Room in recognition of their financial support for the branch. After a successful late summer sale in 2020, ATLA will again host an outdoor sale at Burger Farm and Garden Center on August 7th and 8th. That's the end of the Foundation and Development report.
Thank you, Ms. Conan. Next up is the Operations Committee, and that will also be Ms. Conan as Ms. Clemens is not available.
Great. All right, so we have some late fine fee updates. The Committee of Library Staff have been studying the committee's suspension of fines for overdue materials during the pandemic to see if the effort is meeting the intended goals, which include expediting and improving customer service, reducing stress on customers, addressing inequities, and reinforcing the library as a dynamic force in the community. Preliminary results indicate success in all 4 areas, with customers generally appreciative of the service and more likely to return long overdue items. Frontline public service staff are pleased with the improved customer interactions and are now able to use their time more efficiently. The staff committee has verified that suspension of fines for overdue materials appears to be an increasing trend among our peers, both geographically and among systems with similar budgets and service areas. A formal recommendation will be provided for the August 2021 board meeting. Next, free tax preparation. So as described in the February 2021 board report, our library began a partnership with United Way to provide free tax preparation for the 2020 tax year, building upon the library's longstanding relationship with AARP, which is also a United Way partner. At the 4 branches where we initiated an in-person volunteer partnership with United Way, volunteers assisted over 420 taxpayers, helped them secure over $615,000 in refunds, and saved them approximately $84,000 in tax preparation. We also continued our partnership with AARP at the main library, offered enhanced tax coaching at Bond Hill, North Central, St. Bernard, and Westwood, and offered free web-based filing software at every library location, along with general telephone assistance through our virtual information center. Next, we have a project at the Avondale branch, who will be partnering with the University of Cincinnati's History Department and the Center for the City in a community-engaged public history planning process. Project, led by UC history professor Anne Delano Steiner, will enable Avondale residents to preserve and share their local history. Dr. Steiner has received a grant to fund this process and will be working with Avondale Branch Library staff and residents to capture the unique and rich history of the Avondale community. That's the end of the report.
Thank you, Ms. Conan. Next up is the Strategy Committee and Chair Ms. Lamacchia.
Okay. Okay, for our civic engagement, this spring we developed the partnerships with the City of Cincinnati Health Department and the Hamilton County Public Health Department to provide access to free walk-up vaccination sites. And we've provided vaccinations at 5 branches, often providing a choice of the Johnson & Johnson or the Pfizer one. And we have 10 additional library branches scheduled to provide these walk-up vaccinations across the county through August 2021. Our customer engagement, we had at Madisonville community feedback session was held on May 18th. The community members met with representatives from the public library and CBBN architects for an update and a review of the project, which is building their building, and also gathered customer feedback in advance of design work so that we'll get some ideas from them. Another session was held virtually on May 25th with the small business owners in the area for an informal conversation to explore how the new branch could help support their businesses. And that event was co-hosted by the Madisonville Business Chamber. And then we had dot surveys being used to learn about how the community, what the community members would need. Additionally, work with the staff and membership of the main library is taking place through the month and to discuss planned renovations and the makeovers of the first floor in the south building. It's also engaging community and local stakeholders and experts in planning and managing the outdoor spaces for input for our main library plaza redesign. This includes an upcoming visit from the Champlin Group 4 MKSK team on site later this week. We're going to have 39 virtual classes for the adult education. They're going, a couple of them are going to be, I need a resume and parenting. And the most important one should be organize your life with apps. For those who are incompetent with all those numerous apps on my phone that I don't know what to do with, I probably should take that course. Every Child Ready to Read Summer Series, which is for children up to 5 years old and their parents and caregivers. And the sessions are going to cover literacy skills along with basic math and science concepts. And if anybody wants to know the details, they're at cincinnatilibrary.org at their calendar. Not only did we have Governor DeWine coming to Price Hill, we also had before Steve Gooden and Representative Steve Shabbat for a tour of the Price Hill branch. And it says, Paula took the opportunity to speak to Steve Shabbat. I hope you cornered him and not let him go until he said he would support the Build America's Library Act with a signature notarized.
I think I got my marching orders right there.
I'm a notary, I can notarize.
Yeah, thanks, Diane.
Well, since Cincinnati is Portopolis, maybe we should just hog tie him to support that. And this bill provides federal funding to repair and construct library facilities around the country. And hopefully Ohio would be able to get $157 million of funding for our library construction and renovation projects. Our summer reading programs this year is called Discover Summer 2021, and it started on June 1st, and it is for kids from up to 18. We have partnered with 12 other organizations to develop summer learning booklets for youth that celebrate learning and fun in Hamilton County. And from June to the end of July, every child or kid, youth under 18 who visits the library receives a summer booklet, a free book, a take and make activity, and for the pre-K families, there's an early literacy calendar. Kids who finish 5 activities from their booklet may return them to the library so they can enter a grand prize drawing at their branch. And at some of the branches, we have been providing meals. The Discover Summer, as it has been for years, the reading program, has been possible through the support of the Friends of the Library and the Library Foundation and other donors. And more information is available at cincysummer.org. In addition to the summer reading program, the library staff are offering a variety of programs for all ages, for in-person and online. We have an in-person memory cafes for adults on June 8th and July 13th at the Harrison branch, June 21st at the Green Township branch. We're going to have a virtual graphic novel book club for kids, June 23rd at 4:30 p.m., I assume at the main library. In-person Inside Out, an affirming epiphany for the LGBTQIA plus adults and teens on June 26th at 2 p.m. at the Price Hill branch, and a virtual wordplay games for tweens on July 6th at 3 p.m. And of course, the most important one of all, the Outdoor Teen Chef, July 22nd, 1 p.m. at the Madisonville branch. Finally, downtown Cincinnati was going to celebrate the grand reopening of Court Street on June 10th from 4 to 9 p.m. under rush hour traffic. The library has activities planned to tie into this celebration, and the staff members are going to have tables out on Vine Street featuring various activities, such as a dot survey to get the community feedback about what like they see in a re-envisioned Pine Street Plaza. And since you have to have some fun, there'll be a chance to make some LED cicada buttons. And that is the end of the report.
So one thing on the Court Street Plaza, they have, they, like us, sometimes have to make adjustments, I think, based on their construction. So June 10th is no longer the big opening, it's now June 11th. So the library is staying open late on that Friday so that the first floor is available. If you remember when we did Link a couple of years ago, so that people can use the restroom, but some of the June 10th information in here, it was already in here, and then we learned from our friends over at Court Street that they had to kind of shift things a little bit. So some of that is not necessarily exactly how it's going to go now, because I don't think they're opening on June 10th. Is that right, Beth?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big ribbon cutting will be Saturday. There will be
June 11th is still a question mark, or is it?
Well, as of today, when I checked my email this morning, it is. So they'll have 3 days of festivities, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The ribbon cutting on Saturday.
Yeah. So we are doing our best to support that, but I think they're kind of going with it as they can too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lamakia. And now we go to Technology Committee and Mr. Olson.
Hi, everybody. So this is Holbrook's report, and it's pretty good stuff. Network security update announced in February of 2021. The cybersecurity project focused on implementing multi-factor authentication for Office 365 across all staff computers, and that's complete. Multi-factor authentication is an effective means of keeping login and account information safe by requiring more than a username and password. Over 80% of hacking-related breaches are caused by stolen or weak passwords. A Windows 10 upgrade. As part of the ongoing cybersecurity efforts and to keep up with the latest Microsoft features, our Computer Services Department completed a project to update or upgrade every computer in the library to the latest version of Windows 10. After several months of testing to ensure compatibility, the upgrade was deployed across all 42 locations from March through May. Despite challenges with remote staff computers, over 2,300 computers were upgraded successfully. That's a big number. Patch My PC implementation on March 17th. After robust testing, Computer Services implemented a new program, Patch My PC. This tool integrates into our existing Microsoft Configuration Manager and allows us to automatically update almost all of the third-party applications used by the library, such as Zoom, Firefox, and Adobe Reader across all workstations. For example, if Google were to release a new version of Chrome that fixes a security vulnerability on Tuesday, the entire system would have it installed by Wednesday evening. That's pretty fantastic, hopeful. On Monday, June 1st, Outreach Services returned to personalized door-to-door delivery of library materials to long-term care facilities after a year of simply delivering books, DVDs, and CDs to lobbies. Residents and staff of those facilities are thrilled with the return of this service. The outreach staff interacted directly with 78 residents at 7 facilities on June 1st, including Twin Lakes, The Seasons, and Montgomery Care. Outreach staff followed protocols at each facility. That's good. Delighted residents greeted outreach as they knocked on doors and dropped off library bags filled with materials. And that's the end of that report. Nice work, Holbrook.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. I would like a motion for approval of consent items.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And that concludes our meeting for today.
Oh, Nadine was raising her hand, but probably for a roll call. Just wanted to make sure we didn't have any questions. I think so. She probably did. Okay, thank you, Diane. I think that's good. I think Nadine was just saying aye with her virtual hand.
Okay. All right. So I guess, do we have a motion to adjourn and a voice vote?
So moved.
Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you all very much.
See you all soon. Happy summer. Happy cicada.
Bye.